Okay, we're underneath our 1968 Chevelle. This particular car is a real 138 code car, so it did start life as a big block 396 SS car. The block casting number designates it to be a 396 engine, although we don't really have any way of authenticating the actual displacement now. It could be a 402, it could be more than that. We don't know. Does run like it's a hell of a lot more than the 396, that I can tell you for sure. Has a lot of upgrades on it. Ceramic coated 2 1/8 set of equal length headers on it. Has an Edelbrock aluminum intake manifold. It does have the oval port heads on it. It has a double pump Holley carburetor. It has power steering, chrome alternator, all new fuel lines, all the cooling lines and everything under the hood are all fresh and correct. Fender wells are very nice on the car. They're nice semi-flat the way they should be, as is the firewall. If you notice, the vent panels in the cowl area are missing. We have new ones ordered. The other ones, just from age, had deteriorated, so we have new ones coming for it. They didn't make it in time for the video shoot, but I assure you they will be shipped new with the car. They'll be on it whenever you buy the car. Does have a wide 4-pass radiator that came standard with the big blocks. Chrome valve pan covers. Chrome fuel line for the Holley. New battery. It's a very, very straight, nice, clean car under the hood. Runs exceptionally well. It looks like a plain old Chevelle, but it isn't. We're going to go over a few things with you later and show you how this differs from a conventional 138 code big block Chevelle. And also a brand new master cylinder braking system for it too. So, great engine under the hood here. Let's see what else we can show you on the car. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. And today on the floor we have a 1968 Chevelle that just shows to be plain old regular 138 code original SS 396 Chevelle. But it isn't. It's far from being anywhere close to a standard old 68 Chevelle SS. And we'll get into that in depth a little bit later here with the undercarriage and the engine. But let's go around it and see what we got cosmetically on this car. It does have the correct hood on it. You can see everything matches the way it should. This is a very, very well fit together car. The gap is like 1/8 of an inch the whole way around this thing, from the windshield across the header panel. No marks in the hood. The paint on the car is absolutely beautiful. It does have the correct double scooped hood on it. Chrome on the front bumper is absolutely gorgeous. The fitment of the front bumper, again, you can see is just the way it should be. SS 396 designation, because that's what it is. The plastic grille, there's no marks or chips or cracks in the plastic whatsoever. The anodized trim around the grille surround is just absolutely beautiful, as are the headlight trim rings. All 4 of them are absolutely just the way they should be. Front bumper, the parking lights amber the way they're supposed to be. They're nice and clean and shiny. The front end of this car is just as sweet as you'd ever want to find one. Again, you know, it almost seems repetitive that we're doing this and telling you how each one is as nice as it can be, but it's a fact. We try to go ahead and get these cars ready and pick nothing but the best cars for you to buy here at Hanksters, and this is just another example of that. So let's go on to the side, see if we can find any marks or dings or anything there. Okay, down the driver's side of our little Chevelle. Again, 396 designation. Painted black along the bottom, the way it should be for a 1968 SS car. No trim pieces on the fenders whatsoever. Trim around the windshield. Chrome on the grills on the hood is just as beautiful as can be. Correct wiper arms, incorrect blades. They're a later model design blade in black. Trim around the window itself, which happens to be a tinted glass window. There's no marks or even no wiper marks on it, so it has to be an absolutely brand new replaced windshield on it. The dash area cleaned down to the windshield itself. There's no deterioration or fading or anything else in it. Front fender to the door. Again, fitment is absolutely beautiful. Correct style bow tie mirror on it. Chrome around the wing area, absolutely as sweet as you're going to find one. Little tiny mark here, I don't know what it is, but there's a little tiny mark there. Drip rail molding, absolutely nothing. Chrome along the window, your rear window, just as sweet as can be. All new wipes, whiskers, front and back. They've been replaced. Chrome door handle is just as flawless as can be. The rubber comes down between the stainless beading. There's a section of rubber that comes down and mates to the painted area on the door and quarter. And it's perfect. You can't even get your finger underneath it. It's absolutely perfect fitment. Vinyl top, obviously. And the vinyl on it is just the way it was when it was new. There's no bubbles or no separations from the vinyl and the metal roof. It's just as tight as it was when it was new. Paint on the door, same as it was on the hood and the front fender. There's absolutely zip. Trim piece between the bottom black section and the main red on the car is just as straight and nice as you'd ever want to find. Again, fitment from the door to the quarter panel is absolutely flawless. Paint on the door didn't have a single mark either on it. Tinted glass in this car too. I know it doesn't have air, but it does have tinted glass all around. Trim around the back window, which is also tinted. No marks whatsoever on it. Correct hat rack, hat shelf, rear shelf, just the way it should be. All the trim on this top, all around the vinyl, is just absolutely flawless. There's no marks or dings or anything in it anywhere. Absolutely none. Quarter panel, nice fender lips. And the back fender lips are rolled up in because of the huge tires and wheels that are on this vehicle. If you haven't noticed, it does have a set of, I believe they're 18s in the front and 19s in the back. Torque thrust style wheels that are chrome plated. Really a good looking wheel. I'm not absolutely sure of the size of the wheel, but that'd be a close guess. But anyway, it is rolled up under so that you're not going to have any interference between the tire and the quarter panel, end up breaking it up or cutting your tire or anything else. There is clearance. There's ample clearance now for the tire to fit in there. Quarter panel to the rear section, absolutely as nice as you could ever expect one to be. This car, it's the first time I really looked at this car. We just got it cleaned up, and by clean up I mean it got washed. That was all this car needed, underneath and on top. That's all it required. Laser straight down the sides. There's not a deviation in the fitment of the front fender, the door, the quarter panel, the alignment. The body lines themselves, everything is as it should be on the driver's side. Let's see what's out back. Okay, the back of our 68 SS Chevelle. I love it. Look at this. How could you possibly get a better fitting deck than that? The same as the hood. There's an 1/8 of an inch gap in its entirety, the whole way around it. There's an 1/8 of an inch. And look at this. The way the chrome trim, it's not actually chrome, it's anodized aluminum. This is chrome. But the way it lines up with the taillight sections, absolutely flawless. Bumper fitment, look at this. Get your micrometer out to check it. SS 396 designation, black through the center the way it should be. Taillights just as nice and shiny as you'd ever want to find. No pitting at all in the chrome. Absolutely zip. None. That's as nice as you'll ever find. Chrome in a bumper is just absolutely brand new. Shiny as can be. It looks like show quality chrome. Clear backup light lenses. Not the original exact style, but very close to duplicating the original exhaust tips on this 68 car. It's a good looking car around the back. The alignment is just astronomical on this thing. It's just absolutely beautiful. Let's see what's on the passenger side. Okay, passenger side, up the quarter panel. Oh my, this thing is really nice. Quarter panel paint, Again, we haven't found a single chip, mark, scuff, ding, nothing. Rolled in the same as the other side, very professionally done, not cut up. It still has the original sharp tin on the edges. It's just this area here where it would normally contact the wheel because of the size of the tire is rolled up in. You can't see it, but very professionally done before this car was painted. Nice touch. Again, the vinyl top, there's no marks, and again you can see there's absolutely nothing on this trim or on the window. And again, tight that I can't even get my fingernail between the trim and the vinyl. This is as nice a Chevelle as we've seen for a long time. It equals the quality of our blue one that we have up here. It's fantastic. Fantastic car. Absolutely no bubbles, no separation. No waves or anything in this vinyl top. It's as flawless a vinyl top as you could ever find. Door, quarter panel. This is it's amazing. This car is really, really nice. Chrome, these are usually deteriorated some, none. Wipes, whiskers, just as nice, as tight as can be and fresh. Inners and outers, by the way, are just absolutely perfect. Wing area, rubber, everything on it as sweet as can be. Door handle chrome is absolutely new. Trimmer on the front. Windshield on this side. Again, same as the other side. Look at this, the door to the front fender even. There's like no deviation whatsoever. Look at the fitment on this thing. It's totally amazing. Totally amazing. Side marker, 396 lamp up on the nose again. There's not one single mark. I just went over this entire car. There's not a ding, a chip, a mark, a scuff, a deviation, a panel that doesn't fit, a misalignment in any way, laser straight down both sides. The paint is absolutely show quality on this thing. It's as nice a paint job as you'll ever find. It's certainly nothing close to what the car originally came with. The real surprise is when we get underneath this thing, but you'll see that video here shortly, and that's where this thing really deviates from the standard 138 code 396 Chevelle. Very impressive. You'll see that in a minute. But hard cars to find. This one is an original 138 code SS car. Great color combination. Black vinyl top. Black trim along the bottom, red car, black interior, bucket seats, console, and 3 pedals. It's a 4-speed car too. This car, I drove it. A very, very impressive car to drive. I didn't expect this thing to respond when I stuffed my foot in it to respond the way it did. And the car just runs, drives, handles, just as what you see here. You know, exemplary car. It's here available at Hanksters, and you'll absolutely love this car. I sure did. Okay, we're in our 68 138 code 396 SS Chevelle. Really a neat car. No breaks, no marks on the padded dash in this. The area in front of the dash, which is usually faded and deteriorated, is just as new as the day it was born. Door panels are replacements, but they are absolutely as new. All the window cranks, even for the wing, everything is all new chrome on it. Console with, guess what, guys? 3-pedal car, 4-speed. Correct style interior in the car, deluxe interior. Headliner is like new. The hatch shelf is absolutely perfect. We did state that previously. Back seat matches the front. Hardware on the back side panels, including the ashtrays, are all nice, shiny, new chrome. Carpeting is all nice and black, not deteriorated in any way. AM radio, which I'm sure doesn't work, but it is an AM radio. Full instrumentation on this. Does have the amp, oil, temp, fuel gauge. In this cluster, it does have a trio of auxiliary gauges underneath the dash too. Speedometer functions. And how about this for a rare option? How about a roll-up ribbon type tack in it that functions? The tack still works just the way it was when it was new. It's right here. Very, very rare option to see that tachometer. Astro ventilation still works. It all functions the way it should. Everything in this car, headliner, sun visors, seats, console, everything is as nice and new as it was in 1968. You can't find a nicer, straighter car. And the key to the whole operation behind this is this guy right here. It is a 4-speed. Fantastic interior. But wait till you see the real surprise, what's underneath this guy. You'll never believe what someone spent on the undercarriage of this vehicle for performance add modifications. Absolutely stunning. Take a look at it. It's on our Hankster site. Alright, let's see what we got before we take off here. Original ribbon tack. It is working. It is working. Roll-up tack. Very, very rare option. Speedometer you'll see working here very shortly. Tilt wheel. Horn that works. All the gauges are functioning. Clock does not work. There's a surprise. Wipers are working. Radio is not. There's another surprise. Trio of gauges, even though they're on the dash, there are a trio of gauges underneath. They're also working. Temperature is coming up. 4-speed. Very, very nice car inside. Yeah, very nice. Let's see how it runs. Left turn signal working. Straight as an arrow down the road. See how the brakes work. No hands, brakes. Stop straight as can be. No issues. Pressure on the trio gauge is working. Temperature coming up, as you can see. So they've switched the fuel gauge is working. Amp gauge is working in the dash, and it's also working there, apparently. So all the gauges are functioning, including the ribbon tack. So everything in this car works. There you go. See the temperature coming up where it should be. The gauge is all functional with this vehicle, as do the turn signals. The only items not working are the clock and the radio. Other than that, everything functions as it should. Looks like it has about a 331 gear in it. Nice running car. Horn, everything in it working. Nice Chevelle. Hi, you're in Daytona Beach, and today we're underneath our 1968 Chevelle. Whenever we did the walk around, the video presentation, I told you I had a little surprise for you at the very end of this where we do the undercarriage presentation. This is going to take a little bit of time because this is one of those cars that whenever the individual did this car as a project, must have just stood back and said, let's see how much money we can spend in doing this car to the nth degree, to where we can't spend anything or do anything more to enhance its performance or handling characteristics. And that's what we got here. So let's try to go over a few of the key points on it. Complete Hotchkiss suspension in this thing, front and rear. But we're up front now, so let's start with tubular, huge sway bar in the front with grease fittings, Zerk fittings on the brand new heavy-duty bracketry to hold them. Brand new gray coil springs in the front. Tubular double A-arm front suspension chrome moly. All new ball joints, all new radius rods. Pitman arm, new steering box. No marks, no dents on the engine cradle, as you can see. A deeper sump oil pan. I'm going to say 1 7/8, maybe even 2-inch long tube headers on this particular car. Ventilated, cross-drilled rotors on this vehicle. Brand new calipers, brand new associated hardware. 4-piston calipers from what I can see also. The new starter. The motor's been out and completely redone on this particular vehicle. It is a 396, started life as a 396 block. I don't know what configuration it is now, how many actually cubic inches it does have at this point, but we know it started life as at least a 396. M21 4-speed transmission. Brand new, there's no cover on the front here to let a little air in to help cool the clutch and pressure plate, which is brand spanking new, you can see. And it has a brand spanking new billet flywheel in it also. Not even rusted over or anything yet. No deterioration at all whatsoever on it. Again, M21 Muncie 4-speed transmission. All the associated linkage is just as nice and fresh as could possibly be on it. Framed sections in the front. There are no jack marks or marks of any sort on them. Absolutely none. Nice as could ever be expected in this vehicle. The floor pans appear to be original. Whether they are or not, I can't tell. They look absolutely brand spanking new. The frame sections, everything on this car is just undisrupted and just as clean as could possibly be. I'm jumping all over the place here because I'm just looking at different things. 3.5-inch collectors transitioning into 2.5-inch pipes heading toward the back. New brake lines. 3/8-inch brand new fuel line. Again, you can see the structural supports on your floor pans are just totally undisrupted. No one has tried jacking it up on them through the years. No marks of any kind on them. All the lettering and everything inside the the frame is still there. No dents at all that I can see on the floor pan area or structural supports. Absolutely none. Again, 2.5-inch aluminized pipes going back toward the Flowmaster mufflers, which you'll see in a second are stainless steel Flowmasters. Again, the frame back this way, both sides absolutely nothing. Floor pans the same way, no dents, no dings. A little tiny bit of a ding here, I don't know why it's there, but it is. Looked like somebody put a jack there for some reason. Why, I don't know, but it didn't disrupt anything. Just a little tiny bit of a curvature. You can see where a jack stand or a jack was. Certainly nothing to hurt the integrity of the vehicle. Frame again in the back is just as sweet and nice as can be. New U-joint on the drive shaft in the front, new joint in the drive shaft in the rear. We're over halfway in this vehicle and I can't find a single thing. No leaks on the engine itself, no leaks on the bell housing, no leaks on the transmission, bottom part, or in the rear also. The rear seal is also good on this vehicle. Everything is as new. You'll see from the still photos, literally the springs, the A-arms, the brakes themselves are just absolutely undisrupted. They're just as new as the day they were put on. There's very, very little time, very little usage on this vehicle. Well, let's see what's on the rest of it. Okay, here's the second part of our undercarriage. Again, you can see the stainless steel Flowmaster mufflers that are on it. When I said complete Hotchkiss suspension, I wasn't exaggerated. Everything in the front is new Hotchkiss. A-arms, springs, shocks, sway bars, anything associated with the suspension system in the front has been addressed and replaced with Hotchkiss performance-oriented equipment. Also, they did the same thing in the back here. It has the Hotchkiss swing arms in the back, which normally are just plain pressed tin with a little bit of structural support in them. Hotchkiss coil springs in the rear of it. This particular car has a 4-link. In other words, it has 4 locating points for the rear differential in this vehicle. Also Hotchkiss, which the rear differential, by the way, is a 12-volt Chevy with a finned aluminum cover on it. It does have cross-drilled, brand spanking new rotors, calipers, and associated hardware also in the rear of this vehicle. There's just literally no time whatsoever spent on these. There's no wear on them. Even inside the fins of the rotors is still painted silver the way it came from the factory. Brand new gas tank. It appears to be stainless steel. I can't really tell for sure. A rear frame section going up over the rear differential is as new as could possibly be. 2.5-inch pipes transitioning out of the Flowmaster mufflers. Again, new fuel line coming in, new brake lines, new all associated hardware with that. Drop downs in the quarters are absolutely, looks like the day they were produced in 1968. And there's no sound deadening or undercoating or anything on this vehicle. So what you're seeing is the actual floor pans with the semi-flat black finish on them. Frame sections in the rear are just as they are the rest of this vehicle, absolutely undisrupted. The cross member that ties your 2 C-channel perimeter frame sections together is just absolutely perfect. All new joints, what do you call, rubber body mounts on the vehicle. Everywhere has been replaced with all new rubber as opposed to polyurethane, but it gives you a little more isolation, so no vibration. A little smoother ride too, not that that matters in this particular vehicle. The 2.5-inch pipes transition into 2, not exact, but very close to the type of tailpipes that came out the back of the car. I can't find a single solitary thing. New shocks in the back also. Everything is shiny, every bolt, every nut is just the way it was in 1968 when it came, with all these performance upgrades to it, especially the suspension, which is a big dollar suspension. This car is as overdone as you could possibly do in 1968 Chevelle in the undercarriage. The suspension is complete Hotchkiss front, rear. Everything on this vehicle has been replaced or redone to as new condition. You can't tell this vehicle from a new 1968 other than all the performance upgrades. It's available at Hanksters, and it's a fantastic vehicle to drive.